And welcome to Talk FCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. We are going to be previewing the game between Barcelona and Villarreal, this midweek La Liga clash, and following El Clasico, we came out of that unscathed. We're 3 games away from ending the entire league season unbeaten. Can we do it? We are going to find out. As always, guys, the videos today coming to you courtesy of the OneFootball app, which you can find in the description down below. On the OneFootball app, they tell me that Barcelona are unbeaten in 17 matches in all competitions against Villarreal, and 89% of you guys on the OneFootball app believe that Barcelona will come out tomorrow victorious at the Camp Nou. And in my own poll, as always, very, very confident indeed. The majority of you guys are torn between either a win by 3 goals or a win by 2+ goals. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed to see what's going to happen tomorrow, if we're going to win, and if it is going to be that comfortable. Kickoff will be coming to us at 8 o'clock in the evening at the Camp Nou. Here, as always, guys, are the times right around the world. But this midweek fixture is basically coming around due to the match that we missed on the weekend when we played the Copa del Rey final against Sevilla. That was 2 weeks now, last Saturday. So we're catching up, we're playing a bit of catch up, and coincidentally, Sevilla will also be in action tomorrow night, and that will be against Real Madrid at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan. So 2 La Liga midweek matches for this week for you guys, and Barca against Villarreal is at the Camp Nou, and we have to keep going. But speaking of Real Madrid and that Clasico in general, first of all, Real Madrid obviously before that game opted against giving us the traditional guard of honour. Usually in La Liga it is a tradition where obviously if the league winners, the league champions come to town, they've won the league early, you will then give them, no matter who it is, a guard of honour before that league game. Real Madrid opted to break that tradition. They did not do it in El Clasico at the Camp Nou on the weekend. However, tomorrow's opponents, Villarreal, they've done the right thing. They've taken up that sportsmanship, that bit of respect, that sort of unwritten rule really in the football world, and they have said they will be giving us a guard of honour before tomorrow night's game, and they will clap us onto the field as La Liga champions. That's very, very good to see. Very nice from Villarreal, who have coincidentally also done it in the past with us, and I do have a lot of respect for that. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow. But first of all, let's take a look at the league table where, of course, like I say, we are confirmed champions of La Liga. We all knew that already, currently ahead of Atletico Madrid by 12 points. And also, with this game in hand, following Atletico Madrid's loss, a very shock home defeat, actually, at the Wanda against Espanyol. That was 2-0 on the night. Very, very surprising indeed. Villarreal, though, meanwhile, they're in 6th position. They're currently sitting quite comfortably, really, ahead of Tafe and also Sevilla in that 2nd Europa League slot. That's basically their aim now for this season, qualify once again for the Europa League, and they do actually have the chance to leapfrog Real Betis, who are in 5th position, if they do come away with a very surprise victory tomorrow at the Camp Nou. And to be fair, Villarreal of late have been in really, really good form. They've won all of their last 3 La Liga games. All of them have been coming from home, though. They've recorded wins over Valencia, Celta Vigo and Leganes, who, to be fair, are all very, very decent teams indeed. Their away form, though, is much less impressive. Villarreal away from home can be inconsistent. They're not always that great. They only have 1 win, really, in their last 6 games in La Liga. But one man we will want to keep an eye on is Carlos Bacca tomorrow. He has been in great form of late. He's been very, very solid right throughout the season for Villarreal, and we know him, of course, from his time at Sevilla in La Liga. A very, very good striker in and around the penalty area. He has 6 goals in his last 5 games in La Liga, and for the season, he has 15, which will make him the 8th highest scorer in the Spanish top flight. And when you are looking at the head-to-head between the two sides, we do have a very favourable record against Sevilla, just like I mentioned at the start of the video. In recent years, very much unbeaten against them. They struggled to beat us on any given occasion. We won 2-0 away from home in the reverse fixture of this one. That was back in December, thanks to Luis Suarez and Lionel Messi on the night. The game very much changed, though, on that night for a red card to Villarreal. And we also won our last match at the Camp Nou against them. That was back in May of 2017. We won by 4-1 with Messi, Suarez and Neymar all on the score sheet that night. And also, like I alluded to earlier on, we have one objective and one objective only coming into this game: our unbeaten run. That is all that's on our mind. That's all really that's left to play for right now, and we are, like I mentioned, just 3 games away from making that history, ending the league season as champions without losing a single game in the process of doing that. We'll face Villarreal tomorrow at the Camp Nou. We will then have a trip to Levante, and then we'll be back to the Camp Nou for the final league game of the season, which will be against Real. So Sociedad. We've come this far. Across 2 seasons now it spans. Our last loss in La Liga was last season. Surely now it's within touching distance. We can do this. And it is because of this really that I really can't see Ernesto Valverde taking too many risks tomorrow with his team selection. That's a theme really that we've seen right throughout the season so far. Valverde, cautious in some areas, doesn't really like to take too many risks, doesn't like to maybe give the young players a little bit of a go, or even the rotational players haven't played a great deal this season. He will be sticking very much with his tried and trusted players who can come in, he knows what they can give them, and with that in mind, it is time to take a look at the squad that Ernesto Valverde has chosen to go out and play tomorrow's game against Villarreal. The squad is as follows: Marc-Andre ter Stegen, Nelson Semedo, Gerard Piqué, Ivan Rakitic, Sergio Busquets, Andres Iniesta, Suarez, Messi, Dembele, Silasson, Coutinho, Paulinho, Alcácer, Alba, Digne, Andre Gomes, Yerry Mina, and also Thomas Vermaelen makes up the squad for tomorrow's game. Obviously, from that squad list, you will notice that Samuel Umtiti is not there. He missed training today completely with a slight problem with his left knee. That's supposedly nothing at all serious, but it does rule him out of tomorrow's game. There's also no Sergio Roberto, of course, following his red card on Sunday, his controversial red card in some ways in El Clasico. There's also no room in the squad for Denis Suarez, who we've seen right throughout the season really be left out by Ernesto Valverde, somebody that I spoke about earlier on in my video where I spoke about players who could be leaving in the summer. That doesn't look too very good for him. And also, of course, another player that we discussed, Alex Vidal, also not included in this squad. Alenia trained with the first team today, but he does not take his place in the squad for this game, as does no other Barcelona B player. And that does bring me on to the lineup that I would expect to see tomorrow, or maybe not expect, the lineup that I would like to see in many ways, but this does revolve really around how fit Andres Iniesta is. We know that in the build-up to El Clasico, he was struggling, he wasn't training a great deal, and he has trained since then, but obviously he was withdrawn just before the hour mark against Real Madrid, which is a bit surprising in some ways. I don't know if he's 100% fit. I don't really know whether he's going to start this game or play a big part of it. I'm not really sure about Iniesta's condition right now. If he is okay, of course we want to see as much of Iniesta as we possibly can while he's still here before his move now, which coincidentally he might end up going to Japan instead of China. But I would go with this: Marc-Andre ter Stegen in goal, although that could easily be Jasper Cillessen. We've wrapped up the league now. This is a game at home against Villarreal. We could easily give Jasper Cillessen some minutes after his fantastic appearance really in the Copa del Rey final. Jordi Alba at left back, then Vermaelen coming in for the injured Samuel Umtiti. Again, that could be Yerry Mina, but I just don't really see Ernesto Valverde going down that road. He's going to stay cautious. He's going to play the tried and trusted players. Then Gerard Piqué alongside him. Nelson Semedo, of course, the obvious choice to come in and replace Sergio Roberto. Then Sergio Busquets, Ivan Rakitic holding, Coutinho, Messi, Dembele, and then Luis Suarez. And I just think at home against Villarreal, I really like the look at this team. I like the look of the balance of it. I like the look of the attacking threat. And I just think whatever happens tomorrow, surely we have to see a bit more of this man, Ousmane Dembele. And I want to see Dembele and Coutinho together on both flanks. That could cause an enormous amount of problems. There's so much creativity there, providing for Messi and Luis Suarez. That really is an unbeatable quartet there at the spearhead of your attack. And I think when you're at home, even though Villarreal are a very good side, they don't travel so well. They're not great away from home. And I think tomorrow, in front of our own fans, coming off the back of El Clasico, continuing this unbeaten run, we can afford to go for it. We can afford to be bold. We've won the league now. And I also want to see this kind of combination on this right-hand side. Dembele and Semedo, whenever they played together this season, they've been very, very effective. There's so much pace there. They seem to understand each other. They seem to understand each other's runs. And I just think it's going to be really, really interesting tomorrow to see if Ernesto Valverde does play Dembele, because I think we can all admit, really, we have not seen him enough in recent weeks. He's not been trusted. He's not been given hardly any of the minutes that he deserves. And I really want to see him involved in this game in some degree. And with all that in mind, guys, I am going to go tomorrow with a score prediction of Barcelona 3, Villarreal 1 on the night of the Camp Nou. We've got a very favourable record against Villarreal. It is quite a quick turnaround between the Clasico and today's game. Whether the players will be fully recovered from that, I don't know. It was a feisty encounter. It was a really energetic tie. But I just think 3-1 Barca, if we show that attacking intent, if we start with a bold team who can go out there and try and score goals right from the off, we might see once again a good performance against a good side in Villarreal. So leave your thoughts down below, guys. What are your score predictions going into this one? What are your team selection predictions? Let me know all of that and more in the comments down below. And of course, as always, I'll be here tomorrow to look over the game, and hopefully it's a good one. Thanks as always for joining me, guys. I know the season is going on a bit now. We've won it. Everything is wrapped up. We're still playing for that unbeaten record, but obviously the interest isn't quite as high as it was earlier on in the season. But obviously the uploads will keep coming, guys, on a range of different topics, and I really do appreciate all of you who keep coming back and keep watching the videos, getting involved in the comments. I really do appreciate it indeed. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow. But until then, as always, Vasca el Barça.